Welcome to the Master Debaters, kiddies, the show where we solve horror's problems one jump scare at a time. I'm Abe, co-host of the Movies and Stuff show, which can be seen live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on this channel. And joining me on this trip through the labyrinth are three other guys. First up, it's a man I admire. I admire his purity. He's a survivor. He's unclouded by conscience, remorse, or delusions of morality. It's Stefan.
I can't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathies.
Very nice.
Quote another quote from a movie that is maybe applying today. I hope.
Yeah, I hope so.
For the debate.
Yeah. Second up, it's especially important to avoid all conversations with this demon. We may ask what is relevant, but anything beyond that is dangerous. He will try to confuse us. The attack is psychological and powerful, so don't listen to him. Remember that. Do not listen to Kim.
Wrong. No, I mean, it's all true, you know. God is an astronaut, Oz is beyond the rainbow, and monsters is where live in Midian. So, you know.
I like it. And finally, our guest this week is not a maniac or a raving thing. He just goes a little mad sometimes. I mean, we all go a little mad sometimes, haven't you? It's Kyle.
Horror movie quote.
Very good. Very good, Kyle. Kyle, a boy's best friend is his mother. Just remember that. As you guys know, this is a debate show. And for the most part, this is going to be a horror-specific debate show. I'm going to throw out three topics. I'm going to give each of you 60 seconds to make your point, and then I'm cutting you off and moving on to the next person. And I promise you, it'll be easier for you than it was for Jason. Let's get on to topic one. An argument Stefan and I have had quite often is the effect Scream had on horror movies, you know, that followed it. So I thought we'd just make it a topic. Did Scream, which is kind of my hypothesis, did Scream actually ruin horror movies? And Stefan, since we're so well versed in this argument, you are going first.
Is Scream a little overrated? Yes, maybe. Did it age a little badly? Yes, maybe. Did it ruin horror movies? I don't think so at all. I think you're alluding that it ruined horror movies with its postmodern irony, but I think that was a trend in the 90s. It was just waiting that this kind of Tarantino irony was seeping into the horror movie genre, and it did with Scream. I see Scream is just more of a symptomatic movie, a symptom for the downfall of horror than, if you really see it, then cause. I think first, this whole meta approach has been practiced. There have been movies that already applied this approach, like Brain Dead, Army of Darkness, De La Morte from Dusk Till Dawn. Scream isn't the first one.
Yep, that's it. Kim.
Well, yes and no. I mean, Scream did kind of do both a service and a disservice to the horror genre because, you know, it made horror more mainstream again, but also, like Dee pointed out, it did create this unfortunate kind of big amount of copycats who all try to be hip and postmodern. But I don't think that's Scream's fault. I mean, that's just the studio's fault. I mean, as we all know, the studios are run by morons. So, but anyways, you know, outside of that, you know, there are still good horror movies coming out every year. I mean, besides all the trash. So I wouldn't say it ruined the genre as a whole. It's just you know, how should I say this? You know, like I said, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. I mean, yes and no.
All right, yes and no. Kyle.
No.
Whoa!
Come on, don't be silly. That is just like there's no such thing as a movie ruining other movies. I have never ever thought that was possible. I mean, I can see where you're coming from in saying that there is a bit of an after effect with copycats and things like that, but that's going to be true of every single solitary successful movie of any genre. It's just the way that this stuff works. And I mean, I know that it played on the tropes. I know that it was just like, no, it didn't. There are still dozens of good horror movies that have come out since the frickin' mid-90s. It's hysterical to me. It's a genuinely funny concept that a movie could somehow negatively affect an entire genre. It's just goofy. I don't know. No.
Oh, right at the buzzer. Good job. So, Stefan, you think Army of Darkness was more damaging than Scream?
No, I think it was just development that was unstoppable. I just think Scream is a very prominent example. But actually, I think Scream, I rated the Scream highly over, for example, all these zombie horror comedies we have today on the video market. I think these are really bad examples, yes, for this trend of meta and not taking horror seriously. Actually, the people behind Scream still took horror seriously, I think. They made fun of the tropes, but it's also they portray these characters in the movie who make fun of the tropes, but in the end get entangled in those tropes. They are falling victims to those mechanisms of a horror movie. You know what I mean? I think it was made with love. I mean, I don't think it always succeeded. The movie doesn't succeed on all levels. And here's the next thing. I don't think it had many copycats. How many copycats did follow Scream? Actually?
How many?
All these slasher movies that followed Scream were actually pretty straightforward slasher movies.
That's true. But I mean,
Now,
horror comedy did come out. I mean, there were a lot of horror comedies that followed, weren't there?
I don't know. After Scream?
Does it? I mean, can we say Peg exists because of Scream or no?
Which one?
Shaun of the Dead.
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I think Shaun of the Dead. I mean, there was already Brain Dead before that, 1993, for example.
All right. Well, Kim, are you still on the fence? Dawn of the Dead. Are you still on the fence?
Army. Darkness, Joe. So.
After all this, Kim, are you still on the fence? You're saying yes and no?
Well, I am saying yes and no. I mean, I'm referring to the fact that it made. I mean, horror was kind of below radar before Scream, but it kind of made it more mainstream. And then you get this absolute shit when the studios start remaking old classics, for example. When
they're out of ideas because the horror genre there's nowhere to go after. There's nowhere to go after Scream. Right, Kyle? I mean, post Scream, he's right. We're getting remakes. We're getting what everybody affectionately referred to as torture porn because there's literally almost nowhere else to go.
Oh, no, but we had a lot of. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Kyle, go on. Sorry.
I think that there's always new places to go. I think that sometimes it can take a little while, but I genuinely do not believe that it is possible to kill a genre. I think that sometimes you got to wait a little bit. Just because of the way things go. But there are still excellent horror flicks, and something doesn't have to be truly new to be truly good. So it's like I just don't even understand this as a concept.
Really, that a movie could actually affect a whole genre?
But
no, I really don't think. No, okay, affect. I might have misspoken earlier. Effect, yeah, obviously it can because, like I said, people take influence from other things like that. You know what I mean? It will spawn copycats and people trying to do the exact opposite and everything like that. So if something's a huge hit, it's going to have ripples, but I don't think that you can kill a genre. I don't think that there's no single movie that can make a genre irrelevant or bring an end to it because there will always be someone.
Steph, somebody else? Go ahead.
I mean, let's take Cleopatra. I mean, that killed historical epics for several decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
Well, that was a mic drop if I've ever heard one. Man.
No, I
And
I guess.
one at a time.
Gate killed Michael Cimino for the rest of his life.
Yeah, well, that's true, yeah. But he wasn't really
I-
his genre. Go ahead, Stefan.
I agree that a movie can ruin a genre at least for a while, but I don't think Scream is a good example for that. I think the horror genre was already going on a downward curve.
Okay.
I mean, look at the movies. The whole franchise is petered out. There was no more possibility for a new Freddy movie, for a new Jason movie. And it was, I think, a big percentage of the horror movies at the time were already DTV, direct-to-video, I think.
Yeah.
And the genre wasn't as popular anymore. I don't think so. I think this is more of a correlation than a cause.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm pretty sure.
So, everybody's wrong but me. I got it. We're going to move on to topic 2, I think. Let's do it. This is always interesting because when we talk good directors, bad directors, we often look at their hits or their misses. But I want to know who had, as far as all horror directors out there, who had the best ratio, who had the best good movies to bad movie ratio. And that might not be the best horror director ever, but it'll be interesting to see what you guys think. Who had the best ratio ever? Kim, we're starting with you.
Okay, Clive Barker. I mean, he's made 3 films: Hellraiser, Nightbreed, and Lord of Illusions. And Hellraiser is a classic. Lord of Illusion is criminally underrated. I mean, it's a great mashup of a noir detective story and horror, and really fucking scary at times. And the only kind of fumble he had was Nightbreed. But even that, that was not because his lack of visions, but the studio's lack of their faith in his vision. And I mean, when this director's cut came up, I mean, they corrected many flaws. So I would say that Barker is almost like 2.5 to 3.
2.5 to 3. That's a good ratio. You got 15 seconds. You want to?
If anyone hasn't seen Lord of Illusions or the director's cut to Nightbreed, I advise them to take a look at those.
All right. We're just all going to stare at you for another second. There we go. Kyle.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. I forgot about Clive Barker. So I probably would have said that. But, I did what I usually do, and I turned to math. So I just actually sat down, and I, listed all of the major horror directors that I could think of. I actually looked at every single one of their movies that I had seen, and every single and I actually, laid it out as to who had the most that I liked, straight up actually ratio. And I got an answer that is going to be surprising and you're all going to detest me for. James Wan. Out of everybody on the list, not just listen to me though. It's not necessarily, I'm not saying he made the best movies. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying that when it comes to number of movies I liked that they made versus number of movies I didn't that they made, James Wan wins.
All right.
It's math.
Stefan.
Yeah, I gotta go with the master from Italy, Dario Argento. I think due to the fact that he made a row of really crappy movies in the late 90s, we have forgotten that he was a really great director once. From 1970 to 1990, 20 years, he didn't make a single bad movie. And I think his first movies of the 90s are also pretty watchable. I think there's no horror director out there that can beat that run, especially as his good movies are very good. And keeping up the quality for 20 years is not easy, especially he also wrote on the side, he wrote all his movies, most of his movies, and he wrote other very good Italian horror movies like Demons and Dissect. And he worked together with George A. Romero on Dawn of the Dead. So, and I think he's one of the best craftsmen, or the best craftsman in the horror movie genre.
You think he has the best ratio? All right.
Yes, absolutely.
What do you think of Wan? Anybody want to touch James Wan? We got what? Saw, Dead Silence, Conjuring, Insidious.
Yeah, Saw is overrated. Absolutely overrated in my eyes.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's
like
okay.
I said, guys, I was as surprised as anybody, but I actually sat down and did I looked it over like 10, 12 directors, and when I did the numbers, that's what came up.
Well, he was my second pick.
He was your second pick?
Yeah.
Stefan, you're surrounded by Wan fans.
No, I don't have anything against Wen, actually.
Oh, really?
I just don't know if his ratio is that good as Kyle claims.
Man, I think
I think Saw is overrated.
Well, he's only done about 6 horror movies, and like four of them are at least good.
Oh, thank you.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's straight up.
Yeah. I'm looking at
It's straight up the numbers.
Is Argento's ratio really that good, D? Or Stefan? Damn.
Yeah, actually, if you're really strict, yeah, you could say he has 7 bad movies to 9 good movies.
If I'm really
but
strict.
if you're really correct, but I still think, or to 11 good movies, actually 7 to 11. That's it. The ratio that's not a really good ratio, actually. But he didn't make those bad movies in between. He made them all after he had his good phase. And I think that's a run that's so impressive, it really cancels out his later phase when he really started becoming bad, and he started becoming really, really bad. Yes.
I gotcha.
Well, that's a pattern that all these classic horror directors tend to have.
Yeah, I don't know. Yes, but in some cases it's a downward curve. In some cases it's up and down, like with Wes Craven, for example.
Mm.
But it's true. I think every horror director burns out after some time.
Yeah, I think so. Well, that's an interesting picks as all. I'm going to say, as far as Argento goes, his ratio to creating daughters, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, let us move on to topic 3. I want to know from you guys, just simply put, what is the most overrated horror film of all time? And regretfully, Kyle is going first.
Phantasm. It's Phantasm. I don't get it. I don't understand why anybody likes him. I've never understood it. That's it. That's all I have to say on it. I just don't get it. I've seen every single one of them, and at no point have I ever been enjoying myself or frightened. That's it.
You got a half a minute to kill there, Kyle.
I know. I could just say it over and over again for 30 more seconds, but I think people will just keep getting angrier, so I don't want to.
Oh, man. Phantasm. All right. So are you done? Should I move on? All right. Stefan.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm going with a recent example, Wolf Creek. Really good example for how bad those so-called torture porn movies can get. Very predictable, tries far too hard to be gritty and nasty, but it lacks any sincerity, any talent in the filmmaking. It goes just through all emotion, all the cliches. At one hand, it's too ridiculous, particularly the overacting by the bad guy, to pack a visceral punch. On the other hand, it's not over the top enough to be a fun ride. So if this movie was a person, it would be a frat boy who thinks he's tough because he's listening to Disturbed.
All right. We've got to give you
insanely popular. I don't know why.
All right. Kim, why don't you kill this one?
Well, I mean, it's a movie that I'm still amazed gets on everybody's top 10 horror movie lists in all the magazines and websites, and it's a Blair Witch Project. I mean, yes, it was a huge success, making millions and millions with a budget that was made from peanuts. But, I mean, let's take a look at what it really is. It's a bunch of really annoying people going to the woods to shoot shaky footage of rocks and sticks. And sometimes you hear scary sounds. That's it. I mean, I just don't. It was something new, perhaps, when it came out, but I mean, I guess people were just too amazed that they made this with so little money, and that was pretty much the reason for its hype, because it's just fucking boring, and that's what it is.
You know what? I'm bored with you. I'm cutting you off. Blair Witch. That was a great movie. I'm sorry to say. I think you're off base on there. Show me another movie that makes a pile of rocks. Just a pile of rocks on the ground looks spooky.
I wanted to bring up Blair Witch Project earlier for an example for a movie that could ruin a genre. Actually, if you're really looking hard for a 90s movie that ruins a genre, it's got to be Blair Witch. Yes, that nearly ruins the genre.
Okay, I really liked Blair Witch, but I was a kid. You know what I mean? So like that was one of the first horror flicks I ever saw. So I can't really judge it fairly.
It's good. It's legit good. Don't listen to these two snobs
no,
up there. Yeah.
You know I agree with
crap.
you. You know I liked it. I'm just saying I can't be impartial on it, and I know I can't be, so I'm just saying so. That's all.
So Kim, you've got a problem with annoying people going out into the woods, huh? How do you feel about Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
They're not in the woods. They're on a farm.
Well, is that your only? They're in the brush. They're in the brush.
And besides, if you want to see annoying people go to the woods, just go to YouTube where everybody uploads their fucking vacation videos. I mean,
I can't chastise Kyle because oddly enough, Phantasm is one of the movies I've never actually gotten around to seeing. So does anybody? I know I've never seen Phantasm. Does anybody want to take a shot at Kyle for Phantasm, or no? Is that overrated?
Bring it on.
I don't know. Overrated. Maybe in this, I like it. I like it a lot. I think it has a very unique atmosphere, and it's very original. I can see though why somebody doesn't like it. So I have a hard time defending it.
I'll give it that it's original. I'll give it that it's original, but I've never gotten it. I just don't.
Have you ever seen the second one?
Yes, but I only saw that one once, and it was a long time ago. I've seen the first one because people keep saying we need to watch Phantasm, and then I watch Phantasm, and I'm bored again.
Kim, you got any love for Phantasm?
I like it. I mean, I can agree with Kyle that it doesn't make sense sometimes, but I mean, it follows a dream logic, and like Stefan said. The dream logic adds to that atmosphere, which I like. I mean, it goes downhill at like parts 3 and 4, and I haven't seen a new one, but the first two I like very much.
All right. Okay, so the final one was Wolf Creek. Does anybody want to take D to task or Stefan to task for Wolf Creek?
No, I agree. Didn't like it at all.
Kim?
So.
Well, yeah, the villain is definitely overplayed a lot.
All right. The correct answer to this question, everybody, is Cabin in the Woods. That was the correct answer to this question. Yeah,
that was runner-up for me.
I really liked it. But
Cabin in the Woods.
That's what I do. I like things, except for the right things, apparently.
No, a lot of people like Cabin in the Woods. It's just incredibly overrated.
I cannot say.
You know what? I might be able to give it overrated as long as I'm not being expected to say it's bad, because I really liked it, but I might be able to give it overrated.
You have not talked to
Stefan
yet.
It's bad. If you don't have to. I say it's bad. Overrated also. House of the Devil, Innkeepers, The Guest, Don't Breathe. That were my runner-ups.
The Guest was overrated. I know Kim is a fan of The Guest.
Oh yeah,
I really like The Innkeepers.
I wouldn't call The Guest necessarily a horror film, though. I mean, it's more like a kind of nod to the 80s action movies.
Yeah, if
it's filed on.
If Babadook is horror, The Guest is horror too. The Babadook was just a psychological thriller too, and a overrated one at that too. Since we're on a roll. All right, that closed out the horror section. A lot of stuff happened today. Oh, we got an absurd amount of trailers and announcements today. So I thought we'd just bang through this, fairly quickly in a round table. Let us do a bonus round. Haven't seen that in a month, that topic screen. Yeah, I don't think we're going to put a clock on it. I think we're just going to talk about, just how we feel about it. Let's kick it around for a minute and see how it goes. Nintendo announced their new, portable console? Was that how you would call it? And it's got a lot of people. Yeah, it's got a lot. It's everything. It's everything. It identifies as a console, but it also identifies as a portable system. So what did you guys think, Kyle? Let's just go kick it around. What did you think of the Switch?
I could not be more excited, and I only need 2 words to explain why. Portable Skyrim. That's it.
I knew
That's
it.
all I give 2 shits about. Nothing else matters. I can have Skyrim, and I can go on a bus and still be playing Skyrim. That's it. I don't really. No, it looks cool. I'm excited.
Are we concerned at all with being Skyrim in 30 FPS or worse? I guess, is that a deal breaker for you?
Concern.
Do you care?
No, it's definitely not a deal breaker for me. I care a little bit, but when I was a kid, I've been playing the N64, and if you made the frame rates drop, you just felt like you were so awesome that you broke the game, and that's, So I'm still sort of in that mindset most of the time, where it's like, yeah, I'm doing so much stuff the game can't keep up. No, it's just like, if it's bad enough that it really makes the game chug, then it's a problem. But for the most part, I really don't mind it. So right. I'm excited.
Kim, did you have any thoughts on the Nintendo Switch?
Well, I watched that advertised trailer, and there's one thing that kind of came to my mind. It seems to have 4, 5, 6 different separate parts. I'm just wondering, how much battery power does that take? How long can you actually play when you're on the bus or a plane before the battery runs out?
It's a really good question.
Yeah, that's actually a damn good question. My cell phone doesn't last an entire day without having to be charged. So yeah, that's a very good question.
Yep.
Mine doesn't last 4 hours. So,
Stefan, Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I think I'm intrigued, actually. I think it's a genius concept that you don't have to interrupt your game when you leave the house. And we should, of course, be aware that they are kind of nurturing some gaming addiction there. But I think it's very clever. They are kind of closing the gap between casual gamers on the phone and other gamers on the who rather play at home. Game at home, and I think it's a clever concept, and I think it will be very successful. Two things that bother me, and this is where Nintendo usually loses me, are the hardware and the games. The hardware wasn't too strong with the last consoles, especially the Wii, the first Wii, and the games. I don't say they have bad games. Just most of them don't appeal to me. It's not on my alley. I'm not too much into Zelda or Super Mario. I'm missing some more adult titles there. I hope maybe they do buy a lot more of those. Yeah.
Well, they supposedly have a bunch of already third-party developers on board, so that's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, so it should be interesting. I am
maybe you heard that Nintendo can practically not go bankrupt. The story.
Oh yeah, well I think they saved themselves from bankruptcy. That's probably
because they have such a they have so much. They have a very, very conservative fiscal system. So there was an article, and they said even if they lost 250 million a year, they could still go on till 2052.
Wow,
it's completely accurate too. That's why they keep doing crazy shit, because they can afford to. It's that simple. They can afford to hold their breath for another Wii. You know what I mean? For another just crazy idea to totally take off. So that's what they're doing. I can't blame them.
I'm not so sure about the portability factor here, Kyle. I mean, it's not going to fit in your pocket.
No, I'm with you on that. I trust me. I can see the issues with it, but I don't just keep closing my eyes and seeing Skyrim, so I don't really care about the logic right now. I just want Skyrim on a bus. That's all.
I mean, one other thing that came to mind is when they split that controller into those little parts. I mean, those look like something that it's just begging to get lost somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Yeah. I don't know, but the phones nowadays are so large. I don't think there's much a difference.
I think there's going to be some difference. I can't put my Surface in my pocket. My Microsoft Surface. All right. So it is going to be interesting. I think we're definitely all intrigued to see where that goes. Let's move on to our second bonus topic, which is one of my favorite video games of all time. Red Dead Redemption is finally getting a sequel. Rockstar revealed today what they called a trailer, but I think everybody else would call it a teaser. But I want to know what your reactions are. Kim, did you watch the teaser?
Yeah, I did watch it, and I mean, I have seen the previous game being played, and yeah, it looks great, and this looks like a really amped up version of that, and I can see that if someone had like a virtual helmet, we could basically all have our own very personal Westworld.
Oh, that'd be awesome! That'd be awesome. Stefan, what'd you think of it?
Yeah, I think it looks great. I really love the first one. I think Rockstar can almost do no wrong in my book. I think they barely have any stinkers on their resume. And first one was very good. And I think the Western genre leaves. There are many possibilities. There's so much material you can draw from. The gangster genre is maybe a little exhausted now with Grand Theft Auto. But I can see that, even though I did enjoy the fifth one, but I can see that they could make another sequel or two to this one. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it just looks great, I think. So I think they show a lot of confidence when they're already releasing trailers, and they could keep it for secrets for so long. So I'm expecting great things, yes.
Yeah. Kyle, what do you thought? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I could not possibly be more excited. Red Dead Redemption is bar none my favorite game of last generation. Like, I freaking adore that game. I just, man, oh man, I've been waiting for this for like 8 years. It's been about 8 years, hasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it's been a long time.
And I am just so excited. And what makes me the most excited out of all of it is a bunch of my friends and I play GTA 5 online like a lot. And now we're going to be doing it and robbing stagecoaches. And like, because they're going to do it. They're going to do a big online thing to it, just like they did with GTA 5. So can you imagine the kind of heists we're going to be able to do? Like, imagine like you're riding with 3 of your buddies, robbing a goddamn train that's like barreling through the desert from horseback. Holy freaking crap. I am so excited.
Yeah.
I'm always excited, but I'm like, I am excited.
Yeah, I'm really stoked for this one too. This is going to be a must play. All right, let's knock out this last topic. Boys, today was a busy day. The trailer for Hugh Jackman's final go as Wolverine was released. X-Men Wolverine: The Last of Us came out today. What are your reactions, Stefan?
Yeah, looks boring.
Yeah, I was going to say, bring us all down real quick.
Looks bland. I think they're dropping the ball for the third time. I'm actually one of the few people who thought that the second Wolverine was even worse than the first one.
You're crazy.
Again, the protecting the kid trope. I mean, how many movies do we need of that? And really a bland look. And I did try to very forced to make it look this forced, tedious word weariness. It's very Pizzolato-esque, if you know what I mean. Reminded me very much of this guy.
All right. Kyle, what'd you think of the Wolverine trailer?
I think it looked pretty damn awesome, but I used all my enthusiasm up on that last one, so I'm kind of going. now. But no, I think it looked pretty damn good. I definitely think that the other two Wolverine movies are on the weaker side, although I liked the second one. Well, it's impossible not to like it more than the first.
Apparently not
Even
impossible.
No.
Even I can't frickin' defend X-Men Origins. I can defend anything. I can't defend that movie. It's not good. But this one I think it looks really cool. I think it looks like they're going to do something that, while it's been done before in a lot of different ways, they've never done anything like this in the X-Men franchise, and I welcome that. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Kim, what do you think?
Well, I said this last weekend, and your buddy Marty has been saying it when he posted the link today, that, this basically renders the ending of Days of Future Past completely useless. Logan saved the mutant world from Sentinels, and suddenly all the mutants are gone again. I don't know. Okay. As I understand, this is somewhat based on the Old Man Logan comic, and I looked it up, and apparently it takes place in an alternate universe. So maybe this is another alternate universe again. So I don't know. Just seems a bit weird.
That's comic books for you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I'm kind of interested to see it. It gave me that little spark of hope that maybe it might be just a little bit different than every other comic book film we've seen so far. Yes, I know Stefan's right that the defending the little girl or the child trope is maybe a little bit played out, but
does it visually look interesting in your eyes?
Compared to what? Compared to Civil War? Compared to Cap 3 or Cap 2? Yeah, it probably does look visually interesting compared to...
I don't know. I don't think it looks pretty bland. Looks a little like that last movie with Mel Gibson, Bloodfeather.
I didn't see that.
Also, I only saw the trailer. Yeah, I think to come back, I think the thing is, the first Wolverine movie, I don't say it's good. I don't say both. I just think the second one is even worse, because the first one, it's like a bit of a C movie from the 90s, direct-to-video C movie, but it works at least as such. And the second one is the one that has such a great opportunity and drops the ball. It's almost impossible to make a boring movie out of that setting, of that story, and they managed it. And I think boring is just the biggest sin you can commit.
All right.
Boring is much better. It's much worse than trashy.
Well, I agree with that. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. But there's good trash and there's bad trash. Basic Instinct is good trash.
Okay
X-Men Origin Wolverine is bad trash.
It's okay trash, I think.
Yeah. This whole episode's been.
No, really. The second one is really bad because it tries so hard to be earnest, and so hard, and then in the end comes PlayStation 1 graphics, samurai into the game. It's awful. Yeah, really, they show ninjas. He never really fights ninjas. It's such a frustrating movie, such a tease. It's awful.
The idea of somebody liking the first Wolverine better than the second one literally causes me physical pain. Like, I cannot comprehend.
I hope,
really. Like, seriously.
Hopefully.
That's a good place. That's a good place to end before this gets too dirty. All right. So Kim, what have you been up to these days?
I've just been writing some horror movie reviews to the Supernauts.
All right.
Trying to keep those coming out for the next couple of weeks.
Cool. Stefan, what have you been up to these days?
Pretty much the same as Kim. Yeah? Actually. Yeah, I will also doing a collaborative article with my friend Starkai from the Supernauts. Maybe I hopefully come around to make a horror podcast. So
that'll be fun.
Full horror celebration, full Halloween celebration.
Nice.
Like it should be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Kyle, what have you been up to?
Me and the Jack Randoms podcast folks are hopefully going to get one out pretty soon, and we're going to force Jamil to watch a horror movie. So that's going to be great.
Do we have any idea what movie you're going to make Jamil watch?
Well, right now we're going with the Babadook, but I intend to force something harsher on him soon, and I haven't told anybody yet. So
why don't you pick a good horror movie?
this will be
Just
news to
throwing that out
him
there.
if he
Just
watches
throwing
this
that out
right
there.
now. That I intend to follow it up with something worse. I kind of hope he's not watching because I wanted to catch him in the show. But oh well.
All right. Nice. Well, I want to thank all of you for joining me on this, and I want to thank everybody for watching. And, if you could, please give us a like. Give us a comment to let us know why Wolverine 1 is better than Wolverine 2. That'd be interesting. I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see if anybody out there can make that argument besides Stefan.
As anybody could, it would be me, but I can't.
Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. I can't wait to do this again in 2 weeks. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.